Whew. Okay. Every parent's worst nightmare,
Yeah.
right? A kid struggling to breathe, you think, is it pollen, dust? But what if it's something you can't even see, just hiding in your house?
Yeah, mold. It's more common than you think.
Today we're going to dive into that, looking at the connection between mold and asthma, especially for little ones. We've got some research articles and some local news out of Coerde, Münster.
Mm.
We're going to try and paint a clearer picture of this whole problem and hopefully give you some ideas on how to deal with it.
Mold can be like a silent threat,
It
right?
really can.
Microscopic spores are like tiny little mold seeds floating around in the air. You breathe them in, it irritates your airways. That's how you get those asthma symptoms flaring up. And babies, their lungs are still developing.
Makes you think twice.
Yeah, the impact can be even worse for them.
Speaking of impact, we got this news from Coerde. Seems like there's been like a rise in asthma cases, and they're thinking it might be linked to mold. How serious is this, really?
It's serious. The DAC, they're a big German health insurance company, put out a report. Big jump in asthma cases in Coerde.
Not just a couple, right?
No, this is a trend. It's real data, lines up with what a lot of the folks living there and the doctors have been seeing on the ground.
So, okay, it's more than just a musty smell in the basement then. We're talking like potential health crisis here. What can people do in Coerde, to protect themselves, their families?
Yeah, I know it sounds like overwhelming,
It does.
but there are some practical things you can do. Ventilation, number one. Open those windows, get some airflow going. That helps stop the dampness, which, mold loves.
Makes sense. Damp, dark places.
Yeah.
That's mold heaven, right?
Exactly. That's why next up, you got to fix any leaks fast. Leaky pipe, crack in the roof, doesn't matter. Water is mold's best friend. Get those leaks fixed, huge difference. And then humidity. Got to manage that, especially in those like basements, bathrooms. Dehumidifiers can be good. Even just, shorter showers, anything to cut down on that moisture.
It's crazy how just those little everyday things can make a difference for your health.
Yeah.
But you said earlier, this isn't just on individuals, right?
It's a community thing. Landlords got to step up, keep their properties in good shape. And local authorities, maybe they need to rethink those building codes, especially for older buildings, the ventilation systems.
Right.
If a building's got bad ventilation, mold's going to be a problem. It's not just it's a bit musty. It's a public health hazard.
Makes you wonder, are the current building codes actually doing enough to keep people safe? Especially in places like Coerde, where this mold problem seems to be getting worse.
That's the big question. Maybe we need stricter rules or required mold inspections for older buildings.
Big discussion to be having, for sure. Especially when it's about, the health of a whole community. So, wrapping up, we've learned that mold, it's not just an eyesore. It can be a real health hazard, especially for people with asthma.
Yeah, and what's happening in Coerde,
Right.
it shows us that we need the whole community involved.
Yeah.
And we need to look at those building codes seriously.
Absolutely. For anyone listening in Coerde, do your research. Look up how to deal with mold. See what resources are available locally.
Information is power.
It really is.
Right.
Knowledge is the first step to protecting yourself and your family. Join us next time for another insightful broadcast.
See you then.